Well, friends, I welcome you all in the session on hire purchase accounts. So, well, friends, in the series of lecture on hire purchase accounts, this is the fourth lecture which we will discuss now. So, I have already made my learners very clear that the process of recording the business transactions under the hire purchase system is as simple as it is in case of other accounting systems. So, here now we will discuss the accounting treatment in case of partial repossessions, because just now we had discussed about the accounting treatment of hire purchase system in case where the entire amount of goods is taken back by the hire vendor. Now, when the hire vendor takes a decision not to take the 100% goods back from the hire purchaser, it means the hire vendor has decided to take only a part of it, then how the accounting treatment will take place and what sort of journal entry will be passed in the books of the hire purchaser and in the books of the hire vendor as well, that we will discuss in this lecture. So, under these circumstances, vendor account is debited and the asset account is credited with the agreed value of goods repossessed, because when the hire purchaser is giving the goods back, or hire vendor is taking the goods back from the hire purchaser, so it is very simple that in the books of the hire purchaser will debit the vendor account, because vendor account is a personal account. Therefore, as per the rationale of the personal account, debit the receiver. Therefore, the hire purchaser will debit the hire vendor account and he will credit the asset account, because asset account is a real account, and as per the rationale of the real account, the rationale is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So, here the asset is going out, therefore, the asset account will be credited. Partial repossession. So, what actually the partial repossession is all about. So, let us see sometimes what happens that in case of default, the vendor enters into a compromise with the hirer, that is the hire purchaser, and does not repossess the complete goods, but he repossesses a part of the goods called partial repossession. In this case, some part of the asset is still left with the buyer. So far as the accounting treatment of partial possession is concerned, interest and depreciation entries are passed as usual in the books of both the parties up to the date of default, but not the entry for payments, because the payment entry, why the payment entry could not take place? Because only on account of not making the payment or not fulfilling the commitment, this question of repossession of goods takes place. As some part of the asset is left with the hire purchaser, the hire vendor does not close the hire purchaser account in his books, because in case of complete repossession, the hire vendor also close the account of hire purchaser in his books, and the hire purchaser also close the account of hire vendor in his books. So, nor does the hire purchaser close the hire vendor account in his books. They ascertain the current value of the asset repossessed with the help of an agreed rate of depreciation. So, both mutually discussed and agree upon a mutual rate of depreciation, and then based on the rate of depreciations mutually agreed by both the parties, they decide the value of the asset. It is usually an enhanced rate. So, this rate of depreciation is usually as enhanced rate. It means the rate of depreciation is comparatively more than the rate of depreciation in case of normal situation. The hire vendor debit the same to the goods repossessed account and credit it to the hire purchaser account. Yes, of course, when the part of the goods is coming to the hire vendor, he will debit the goods repossessed, because goods repossessed is a real account, and as per the rationale of the real account, debit what comes in. So, the goods is coming in, therefore, the account of goods must be debited, and here he will credit the hire purchaser account, because the hire purchaser account is the personal account, and as per the rationale of the personal account, debit the receiver and credit the giver. So, here hire purchaser is the giver, therefore, his accounts must be credited. Similarly, the hire purchaser debit the hire vendor's account and credit the asset account. So, why do the hire purchaser do this? Because when he is returning the goods, so in that case the goods is going out. So, goods is the real account, and as per the rationale of the real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So, anything which is going out must be credited. So, here from the hire purchaser the asset is going out, therefore, he needs to credit the asset account, and he will credit the hire vendor account, because hire vendor is the personal account, and as per the rationale of the personal account, the rule is debit the receiver. So, here the hire vendor is the receiver of the asset, therefore, in the books of hire purchaser, account of hire vendor must be debited. As for the part of asset left with him, the hire purchaser applies the normal rate of depreciation and shows the depreciated value as a balance in the asset account. The balancing figure is in the asset account will show the profit or loss on default, and it will be transferred to the profit and loss account. So, the hire purchaser will always apply the normal rate of depreciation on the asset account. Whenever the hire purchaser makes any sort of default and does not make the payment or does not fulfill his promise, in that case, when the hire vendor has decided to take a part of the asset back, in that case both mutually agreed upon a rate of depreciation which is generally higher than the rate of depreciation in normal circumstances. So, we have an illustration. So, the illustration is Jalani distributor sold 3 light commercial vans to Jain Enterprises. So, here the Jain Enterprises is the hire purchaser and Jalani distributor is the hire vendor on 1st January 2017 on hire purchase system. The price of each van was rupees 90,000, payment of which was to be made as follow. So, there are 3 light commercial vehicle and the price of each van was rupees 90,000. So, it means 90,000 multiplied by 3, it means 2,70,000. So, the first one is rupees 30,000 as down payment for each van. So, it means there are 3 vans. So, if rupees 30,000 is down payment for one van, so for 3 it is 90,000. So, down payment is 90,000. Then the remaining amount in 3 annual equal installments. So, it means out of 2,70,000, 90,000 have been paid as down payment. So, it means the balance, that is rupees 1,80,000 has to be paid in 3 annual equal installment. It means 180 divided by 3. It means there would be 3 installments of rupees 60,000 each, along with interest at the rate of 15%. So, these 3 annual installments of rupees 60,000 would be paid along with interest and the rate of interest would be 15% per annum. Jain Enterprises were charging depreciation at the rate of 20%. It means the higher purchaser charges the rate of depreciation at the rate of 20% per annum on the basis of a written down value method. After payment of first installment on 31st December 2017, the hire purchaser could not pay the further installments. It means the hire purchaser could make only first installment on 31st December 2017 and could not make the further two installments of rupees 60,000 each. It was agreed between the parties, it means it was agreed mutually between hire purchaser and hire vendor for repossession of two vans, adjusting their values against the amount due. So, out of 3 commercial vans, only 2 vehicles were taken back by the hire vendor. For this purpose of repossession, goods were repaid at a cost of rupees 2000. So, after taking the goods back, the hire vendor spent rupees 2000 on the repair of the goods repossessed and were then sold for rupees 92,000, and then the repaired asset was sold off against rupees 92,000. So, calculate the value of repossessed stock and show the necessary accounts in the books of both the parties. Yes. In the books of Jain Enterprises Limited. So, Jain Enterprise is the hire purchaser. So, hire purchaser will make 2 accounts. First one is asset account and the second one is the hire vendor accounts. So, here let us discuss the hire vendor account first. So, after discussing the hire vendor account, then we will discuss the asset account, that is light commercial van account. So, Jalani distributor account. So, in the books of hire purchaser, this is the hire vendor account. So, hire purchaser, so he bought the assets, so he made the entry light commercial vans account debit to hire vendor. So, in the books of hire vendor, in the account of hire vendor, buy light commercial vans 2,70,000, because there are 3 vans and the cost of each van was 90,000. So, that way it is 2,70,000. And it is also mentioned in the question that rupees 30,000 per van was given as down payment. So, there were 3 vans. So, 3 multiplied by 30,000. So, it means rupees 90,000 were given as down payment. So, on the 1st January 2017, this is the amount of rupees 90,000 which is given by the hire purchaser to the hire vendor as down payment. Then at the end of the first year, the installment of rupees 60,000 plus the amount of interest was paid by the hire purchaser to the hire vendor. So, rupees 60,000 was the amount of first installment. So, now here we will calculate the amount of interest. So, amount of interest is very simple, that out of rupees 2,70,000, 90,000 were paid as down payment. So, by at the end of the first year, the outstanding amount is 2,70,000 minus 90,000, that is 1,80,000. So, rate of interest is 15% on 180. So, it comes to 27,000. So, by interest 27,000. So, the first installment was paid by the hire purchaser along with interest. So, 60,000 is the installment amount and 27,000 is the interest amount. So, total it is 87,000. So, this is the balance carried down at the end of the first year, 1,20,000. Total is 2,97,000, 2,97,000. So, this balance carried down at the end of the first year will be brought down in the beginning of the second year by balance brought down 1,20,000. So, by interest on this remaining amount which is outstanding at the end of the second year 1,20,000 at the rate of 15%, it comes to 18,000. So, the total is 1,38,000. So, here the hire purchaser could not make the payment of second installment. So, here he could not make the payment of second installments, he committed default. So, therefore, the hire vendor took a decision to take the 2 vehicles out of 3, he decided to take the 2 vehicles back from the hire purchaser. And how the amount will be calculated, let us see how this amount of rupees 88,200 is calculated. We will just see it. Yes. So, calculation of the value of repossessed goods. Cost price of 2 vans. So, the cost price of 1 van is 90,000. So, cost price of 2 vans is 1,80,000 because the hire vendor has taken a decision to take only 2 vans back from the hire purchaser. So, 1,80,000. So, depreciation. So, the rate of depreciation, they mutually agreed upon a rate of depreciation for the value of goods repossessed 30%. So, 30% depreciation on 180, it is 54,000 for the first year. And because the default has taken place at the end of the second year, so therefore, second year depreciation amount will also be calculated. So, and the amount of depreciation is calculated on the basis of written down value method. So, you subtract 154,000 from 1,80,000. So, it is 1,26,000. So, 30% of 1,26,000. So, it comes to 37,800. So, total amount of depreciation charged on the 2 commercial van which were taken back by the hire vendor 91,800. So, value of repossessed stock is 88,200. This is in the books of hire vendor, but the hire purchaser is charging the depreciation at the rate of 20%. So, now in the books of hire purchaser, what will be the value of goods returned to the hire vendor? So, the value of 2 van was 1,80,000. So, depreciation 20% at 20%. So, 20% of 180, 36,000. This is the amount of depreciation for the first year. Now, amount of depreciation for the second year. So, because depreciation is charged on the written down value method. So, you subtract 36 from 1,80,000. So, it comes to 1,44,000. So, now 20% of 1,44,000, it comes to 28,800. So, the total amount of depreciation which the hire purchaser has charged in his books is 64,800. So, for the hire purchaser, the value of 2 commercial van at the end of the second year when he committed the default, it is 1,15,200. But in the books of hire vendor, the value of the 2 vehicles which the hire purchaser has given back to the hire vendor, or we can say which the hire vendor has taken back from the hire purchaser, it is 88,200. So, the loss on repossession is 27,000 and this loss is 27,000 in for the hire purchaser. So, hire purchaser, for hire purchaser the value was 1,15,200 and for vendor it is 88,200. So, this loss of rupees 27,000 has taken place in the books of the hire purchaser. Now, we can go back. So, this amount now we have calculated 88,200. So, this is closing balance at the end of the second year 49,800. So, now we can brought it down in the beginning of the third year by balance brought down 49,800. Now, we can easily calculate the light commercial van account. So, in the books of hire purchaser, asset account debit to hire vendor. So it is in the books of asset account to hire vendor 2,70,000. So by depreciation 54,000, 20% of 270. By balance CD 2,16,000 at the end of the first year. So now in the beginning of the second year, balance has brought down, again depreciation 20% on 2,16,600, 16,000. This is 2,16,000, this is the printing mistake. So it comes to 43,200. So by Jalani distributors, this we have already calculated the amount 88,200, because when the hire purchaser will return the van to the hire vendor, he will make the entry hire vendor account debit to commercial van. So in commercial van by hire vendor 88,200, and the loss has taken place 27,000, that we have already seen how it is calculated. So in the books of hire purchaser, this loss of rupees 27,000, for this the hire purchaser will make the entry profit and loss account debit to van, that is the asset. So in asset account by profit and loss 27,000. So this is the balancing figure 57,600 at the end of the second year. So this balance will be brought forward in the beginning of the third year. Two balance brought down 57,600. So this was all in the books of the hire purchaser. Now we will see in the books of the hire vendor. In the books of the hire vendor, that is in the books of Jalani distributor. So Jalani distributor has made the entry hire purchaser account debit to sales, sales 2,70,000. And for the amount of interest, he has debited the hire purchaser account debit to interest, that is 27,000, total is 2,97,000. So the down payment was 90,000, so he received the down payment, entry he made bank account debit to hire purchaser, so it is by bank 90,000. So at the end of the first year, he received 60,000 as first installment plus 27,000 as interest, total 87,000. So this is 60,000 plus 27, 87,000. This is by balance CD, it means this is the balancing figure at the end of the first year. Now this balance we will brought down in the beginning of the second year. Two balance brought down 1,20,000. So interest amount 18,000, total is 1,38,000. So here at the end of the second year, the default took place and the agreed value was calculated 88,200 in the books of the hire vendor. So he made the entry goods repossessed account debit to hire purchaser. So in the books of Jain Enterprises, it is by goods repossessed 88,200. This is the balancing figure 49,800. So total is 1,38,000. So 1,38,000. So this balance of 49,800 will be brought forward in the beginning of the next year. Two balance brought down 49,800. Then goods repossessed accounts. So goods repossessed, the hire vendor made the entry when he decided to take two commercial vans back, and the value of the two commercial van was 88,200. He made the entry goods repossessed account debit to hire purchaser 88,200. He spent rupees 2,000 on repair. He made the entry goods repossessed account debit to cash 2,000, and then he disposed of the goods repossessed against 92,000. He made the entry cash account debit to goods repossessed. So here by cash 92,000. So out of 92,000, if we subtract these two figures, this is the net amount of profit or loss that we have calculated, that is 1,800. So total is 92,000. Total is 92,000. So the working notes we have already calculated. So based on these working notes, you know the value of rupees 88,200. This is the value of repossessed stock that we have calculated, because in the question it was given that out of 3 vans, the hire vendor decided only to take 2 van out of 3. from the hire purchaser, and both mutually agreed to charge the rate of depreciation at the rate of 30% in order to calculate the value of the repossessed stock. So for the first year the value of the depreciation was 54,000, and for the second year the value of the depreciation was 37,800. Therefore the total amount of depreciation for the first year and for the second year was 91,800. Therefore the value of the goods repossessed for the hire vendor is 88,200, but value of goods repossessed for the hire purchaser was the value of the two van was 1,80,000, and the hire purchaser charges the rate of depreciation at the rate of 20% in his book. So therefore the amount of depreciation at the rate of 20% will be calculated in the books of the hire purchaser. So 1,80,000 for the first year depreciation 20% of 180, 36,000, and in the second year, because the depreciation is charged on the basis of written down value method, so we subtract 36,000 out of 180, 144. So 20% depreciation will now be applied on 1,44,000. The amount comes to 28,800. So total amount of depreciation for the first year and for the second year is 64,800. So value of goods repossessed for hire purchaser is 1,15,200, but for the hire vendor is 88,200. Therefore the hire purchaser had to incur a loss of rupees 27,000 on account of not fulfilling the promise, on account of not making the further payment of installments. So this is the net loss of rupees 27,000 which the hire purchaser had to suffer on account of not fulfilling the promise. So this was all about this lecture on hire purchase. I am sure that this lecture has made the concept very, very clear in the mind of the learners, in the mind of the student, that how the accounting treatment is made when the full repossession is taken place and when a partial repossession has taken place. So this was the entire procedure for recording the business transactions in case of complete repossession and in case of partial repossessions. Thank you very much.